let's talk about slope. Slope is a pretty important concept that you learned about in Algebra 1. You spent a lot of time working with slope. In fact, like I said, this week and much of next week is going to be all Algebra 1 review. These are all things you've done before in Algebra 1, but we're going to hit them a little bit harder. Why? Because when you're talking about lines and talking about parallel lines and perpendicular lines, the coordinate plane is an important place for us to be playing in. That's our playground, is the coordinate plane. And in order to work in the coordinate plane, we have to talk about slope of lines and y-intercept and equations of lines and that sort of thing. So that's what we're going to be working on, is reviewing all that stuff from Algebra 1. And it's a pretty important deal. But it takes a little kickstart sometimes to get some of these topics going again from Algebra 1. So let's start with the basics. The idea of slope. Slope measures how steep a line is. When the slope is positive, the line goes up to the right. Okay, the more positive it is, the steeper the line gets. Okay, slope of 9 is quite steep. Okay, a slope of 0 is horizontal, straight across. However, do not confuse a slope of 0 with an undefined slope. A lot of times people, instead of saying undefined slope, say no slope. And then they get no slope mixed up with a slope of 0. Now, there's a big difference between no slope and a slope of 0. 0 is just a measurement on a scale. Let's keep heads up and paying attention, folks. Thank you. All right? 0 is just a measurement on a scale, kind of like temperature. This is Wisconsin. We know what 0 degrees feels like, right? But when it's 0 degrees, does that mean there's no temperature outside? No. The temperature is 0. So when there's 0 slope, does that mean there's no slope? No. Same thing. Just kind of think of slope kind of like temperature in a way. 0 doesn't mean there is none. It means the slope is 0. There is a slope. That slope is 0. That's just a measurement on a scale. That's all. 0 is another number, good as any other number for a measurement scale. So 0 slope is not the same as no slope. No slope is when it's undefined. In fact, let's throw out that term no slope. Let's get rid of it. And let's instead use the word undefined to help us get rid of that idea of 0 being no slope, to end that confusion. That sound like a plan? Let's just use the word undefined for the vertical slope and 0 for the horizontal slope, and no slope is gone. Does that sound okay to people? Yeah. End the confusion, put away confusion by getting rid of the confusing thing. Negative slope. Come on, negative slope, positive slope. Computer just going to sit there and do nothing now? Marvel. Oh, I'm sorry. There's negative slope. Negative slope, pushing the wrong button, that makes a difference. Negative slope is up to the left, or down to the right. So just kind of give us an idea. And for a slope to be kind of shallow, we can always put in a fraction, say negative 0.2. That would be a very shallow slope. All right. So we can just kind of get the idea of how slope works. You can see it in the coordinate plane. We can picture it. It's a visual thing. How do we calculate the slope? We need 2 points to calculate a slope. Now this is where it just gets so messy for some people because, gosh, with 2 points we've been calculating midpoint. With 2 points we've been calculating distance. Now we're going to take the same 2 points and we're going to calculate a slope. So that's a third formula we have to worry about. And yeah, it pretty much is on us to memorize these formulas. So make sure that you've got them on note cards so you can memorize them. Slope is rise over run. We also say y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Or change in y over change in x. There's a lot of different ways of representing it, but the idea is we take the vertical difference over the horizontal difference between any two given points. But always the vertical goes on top of the horizontal. That's a little bit different. Normally we want to put x on top and y on bottom because that's alphabetical. Slope flips it around. Slope is y on top, x on bottom. Rise over run. And that's what we deal with when we're calculating a slope. That's our formula that we're going to use. Now, some people do get a little confused to remember. Think of slope sometimes as measuring a ski slope. The larger the number, the steeper, the more dangerous the hill. A 0 slope is cross-country skiing. Totally flat, the way it goes. Okay? An undefined slope would be a cliff. Vertical drop to your death on jagged rocks below. Okay, kind of death and destruction mathematics. Death and destruction mathematics. It's kind of fun sometimes. Let's see what happens when you give me caffeine. You get interesting examples. Never give me caffeine. Yeah, toolboxes yesterday, death today. They can kind of be related, maybe. All right. So again, positive slope, negative slope, 0 slope, undefined slope. Just a summary here. And again, these are pictures that you could easily have on note cards. Positive slope, what does it look like? Okay, negative slope, what does it look like? 0 slope, what does it look like? Undefined slope, what does it look like? Obviously, 0 slope and undefined slope, since they're vertical and horizontal, will give us perpendicular lines. You should have learned this last year. Okay. You passed out? I'm sorry to hear that. Oh, I thought maybe you were unconscious the entire time. Oh, okay. I knew what you meant. I'm just yanking your chain a little bit here. All right. So, let's just practice it. Very basic stuff. In fact, get out a piece of paper. I'll do the very first one for you. The rest of them I want to see if you're doing it. Because easy to watch me do it. It's much more challenging when you have to do it yourself. So, the slope of line AB. Here are the points. I'll do the slope of line AB for us. Slope is change in y over change in x. So, y2 minus y1. Now again, it doesn't matter which point is point 1 and which point is point 2. You just have to be consistent. So if I'm going to put the 8 first for AB, for the y, the x has to go down here. And again, you'll notice that if they're together in the parentheses here, they better not be together in my ratio here. They split up, just like everything else. When they come to the party, they split up. So y minus y, 8 minus 1 over x minus x, 2 minus negative 3. So that's 7 over 5. Slope often gives us a ratio that doesn't come out to a nice number. That's okay. The slope of that line is 7/5. What does that mean graphically to me? If I'm thinking about that from the picture standpoint, that means it's going up and to the right. It's a little more than a 45-degree angle because the slope of 1 is a 45-degree angle. So I know that the slope of this line, I'm not sure where the y-intercept is, but I know the slope is going up something like that probably. Not really super steep, but more than a 45-degree angle because the slope of 1 is the break-off or 45-degree angle. So immediately when I know that slope, now I have a picture of what that might look like in my mind. If I plotted the points, I'd actually get a better idea. Okay? But it gives me an idea. You do the slope for BC and the slope of AC, and then we'll get down to DE and F in a minute. I want to know what you come up with for those two. I know you've done slope before, so it shouldn't be too tough. AC. Yep. Question? 2 minus negative 3. Give me 2 plus positive 3. Right? Minus a negative is plus a positive?
Did you do like the higher numbers?
No, I just did B was I did 8 first, so I did the 1
Why'd you just have to do the 8 first?
You didn't. I could have done 1, 8, and negative 3, 2, and I'd have come up with negative 7 over negative 5, which would have given me the same thing, because negatives would have canceled. Yes. Reduce your values once you get them. If you can reduce your slope, you should. Don't. Okay. The y's are on the top, yes. Well, the x in the parentheses, the x always comes first. Yeah, the x always comes first. The y always comes second, and then in parentheses. Okay, so it's y minus y over x minus x. And you can do you could do 8 minus negative 4 or negative 4 minus 8. It doesn't matter. 8 plus 4 is 12. Yep. And then you'd have to do, since you did 8 first, you have to do the 2 first. So 2 minus 6 in the bottom. Is that what you did? Yeah. Okay, then just reduce that. Good. Okay. Good. How are we doing? Oh, just watch your reducing there. You had it right. You got this right, but watch your reducing. Okay? Try that again. Be careful. Well, we'll get to that later. We'll worry about that. Yeah. All I mentioned is for this slope. You got your x's and y's mixed up. The y's have to be on top, the x's on bottom. Okay?
The y is not the first one.
No. The y, remember our points always go x, y, x, y, x, y. Okay? So, that's why I'm checking these now. I want to make sure people are doing them right off the bat, because if there's a mistake, let's catch it right away. Ooh. What do we do? Whoa. You need to drop the negative sign, that's all. 8 minus negative 4. So it'd be 8 plus 4.
Yeah.
And you're see what you're doing is you're doing plus instead of minus. This is minus. Minus negative 4 to minus 6. Watch your sign there, okay?
Yep.
That's okay. First try. This is a good time to catch a mistake right now. Get her done. All right. What we get? Okay. Show your work. Okay. I want to see how you set it up. I don't want to see the answer. We're finding mistakes here, and we're correcting them. This is good. Yeah. That looks good for that first. All right, let's just look at them again. This first one, I think I got everybody. I checked basically just the first one, but you should have gotten negative 3 or 3 over negative 1 or negative 3 over 1. You can always reduce that to just negative 3, because we always put our slope in lowest terms. And if it's a whole number, that's okay. Okay, let's look at the letter C real quick for AC. I'm going to do 1 minus negative 4 over negative 3 minus 6. That becomes 1 plus 4, 5 over negative 9. Okay? Now, okay, if you did negative 4 minus 1 over 6 minus negative 3, you get negative 5 over 9. No, they're exactly the same value. Okay? It doesn't, remember with a fraction or a ratio, it doesn't matter if the negative is in the top, the bottom, or in front. All three of these are the same value. Okay? All three of those are the same value. So any one of those three would be correct. On. Then you did the x's on top and the y's on bottom. You flipped it. Y's always on top. Okay? So for slope, y's always have to be on top. That's just the way it is. Yeah. Yeah, we'll get to that in a second. Okay? So for slope, I mean, just think, the y's are kind of selfish. They always got to be the number one. They always got to be on top. I don't know why, but it's just the way those y's are. Darn y's, but that's the way they got to be. They got to be on top, and they got to have the top bunk. Okay? The y's got to have the top bunk. The x's always wind up in the bottom bunk. That's the way it is. Okay? Those darn y's. Probably because all those years of being jealous of coming later, because x's always came first in the alphabet. Then when it comes to slope, they decided it was their turn to be the top dog. These y's? I got kind of a thing going with the y's here, you know. We're like that. You know. So, hey, whatever stupid thing I say that makes you remember it is fine. You know, if it makes you remember it, you always go, oh yeah, you said that stupid thing, but now you remember, good. Then you've learned it. Then I've done my job, right? Okay? All right, let's kind of, now that we've dealt with slope, oh dear, we still have distance and midpoint formulas to work with. So let's review a little bit. Find AB. What does that mean when I say AB? What does that mean? The length of segment AB, and I'm going to give you a hint. Distance formula. So let's do it quick. I'll do this one for it. Let's do this one together. Yes.
When you're putting the numbers, like the numbers in there, is it going to be x2 minus x1, or is it going to be x1 minus x2?
Does not matter, just so long as you're consistent. X's go first and the Y's go first here. Actually, here you could put the Y's and the X's. It really wouldn't matter because they're both being squared and added. So, little less picky here than here. This one's very picky. This is a little less picky. But let's do it the way we're supposed to. The X is first. My Bluetooth is about to fall onto the floor. That's always fun. So the X is first would be for AB with -3 and 2. And the y's are 1 and 8. Now you'll notice we get kind of similar numbers. -3 and -2 is 5, -5, and 1 and 8 is -7. So we got that 7 and 5 thing going again. But we're going to square them now. So it's 25, and 7 is 49. So that's the square root of 74 will be my distance. All right. How about the midpoint of AB? I want you to do E and F on your own for a second. Find the midpoint of AB and the length of BC. I know you're saying, why are you messing with me? I just got slope and now you want me to go back and do these other formulas? Yeah. Yeah, really. That's what I want. I want you to be able to use all three. Okay? Midpoint formula, the x's come first, yeah. Addition. Averages. It's an average, remember? Average. Only square and distance formula, not in midpoint. Yeah, I know, it's 3 different formulas. It's just insane that we'd have you do 3 different formulas with those 2 points. But, you know, I'm crazy like that. What can I say? Midpoint of AB, you're going to get some fractions. They're halves, it's not bad. Yeah? D-dog? No. For F?
Yeah.
2 minus 6 squared, 8 plus 4 squared. Yes, that looks right so far.
Cool.
That's not the case.
No. Whoa, wait a minute. Okay, why would you put the y's first here? The y's go first on slope, but not on distance, or not on midpoint. Okay? But you got 1 plus negative 8. Okay, it's not negative 8, it's just positive 8. Copied down the wrong number. And negative 3 plus 2. Okay. So you copied down the wrong number there. It's supposed to be 1 plus positive 8. But then what happened to your 2 denominator? 1 plus 8 is 9.
Yeah, and divided.
Oh, okay, okay. Finish her up. No, how would you, midpoint is have coordinates, x, y, right? Not just, it's not just one number, it's a coordinate for midpoint. Over 2. No, x1 plus x2 over 2, y1 plus y2 over 2. Yes? What you got? Are you doing these problems? Come on, get a piece of paper. Let's go.
4.5 times 2 is that 9?
Yes, it is.
We did a quadratic equation.
Nice.
Remember it.
Yay!
I don't even know how
We will use it later, but not now. Not for a while.
I just like have it sound.
Negative b plus minus b squared b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. All over 2a. Yes, I know. All right. Let's do these.
The answer 4. Or 8 halves.
For the midpoint, let's do the midpoint first. The midpoint of AB, again, it would be negative 3 plus 2 over 2, 1 plus 8
Does it matter if you read
over 2. So that's negative 1 half and 9 halves. And that's fine. You can leave it like that. Now, remember, I've got a lot of people who want to take that midpoint and turn it into a single number. That's not a midpoint. Midpoint, it gives you coordinates. Distance, or slope gives you a single number. Midpoint gives you coordinates, and the x and the y stay in order, the same order as they did before. That's why the y finally gets to go first on top on the slope, because, you know, x got to be first all the other times. Okay? Distance for this last one, BC. Okay, we set it up. Distance would be x's are 2 and 6. Y's are 8 and negative 4. So that's the square root of 2 minus that's negative 4 squared plus 12 squared. 16 plus 144 be a square root of 160. That's 16 times 10, or 4 root 10. I kind of whipped through that, but you get the idea. All right? So again, knowing all three formulas, important. Knowing how to calculate all three. Now, what are we going to focus on this week? Slope. Okay? Really, we aren't going to do a whole lot of this, but I'm going to keep tossing it in there as review, because eventually you'll have to use them all. When we start with triangles and quadrilaterals, you have to be able to measure lengths of sides, slopes of sides, stuff like that. We aren't done yet. Don't be packing up. I know we're getting close, but I want to just do a little more slope stuff. Two lines are parallel if they have the same slope. Two lines are perpendicular if their slope, the product of their slopes is negative 1. That's huge, because we're studying parallel and perpendicular lines. That's what we're doing. So if I have the 4 points, find out if two lines are parallel, I can do that by calculating their slopes. And it took us a little while because we're a little behind today, but that's okay because we're going to come back to slope and do it some more. But if I want to find this, make sure you find the right lines. AC. Slope of AC would be 5 minus negative 4 over 3 minus 8. And BD would be 2 minus negative 7 over negative 2 minus 3. So this one I got 9 over negative 5, and this one I get 9 over negative 5. What can I tell about those two lines? They are parallel, same slope. Okay? Those two lines are parallel because they have the same slope. So we can use slope to calculate parallel and perpendicular. We can talk about steepness by calculating slopes again. But when you're given problems like this, make sure that you are doing the right ones. X, Y together or MN together. I could ask you XM or NY. Make sure you're putting the right points together. Too many people work too quickly. For your worksheet, because you do have a worksheet tonight. I'll hand it to you on the way out the door. No, just a worksheet. Some of it you'll have to remember some other stuff from Algebra 1. If you're having trouble, check in and see. Whoops. There we go. Whee! Yay, slope. Slope, slope, slope.
Oh, you got your hair. Yeah, lift up a little.
Slopey, slope, slope, slope. You want to? You sure you want to do it twice? Take one. Have a good time. No charge. That would be BJ. Yep. It happens.